respect is understanding someone's boundaries. Because there's boundaries in everything. In friendships and relationships, in all encounters. And I feel like respect is just understanding those boundaries and abiding by them so that you can be transparent with another person or communicate with another person. And I feel like disrespect is going against those boundaries.
Not necessarily an appreciation, but an acceptance of what like somebody does or who somebody is, um, and allowing them to be them, or allowing that to exist without like negative energy. I would say so.
I think respect is acceptance of people. Um, I think it's acceptance, and I think it's the old golden rule: treating people the way you want to be treated. And then I think respect is giving people like their space to be who they are. So the minute you come into a space that does not allow someone to be who they are, then you're disrespecting them because you're not allowing them to be who they are. You're intruding on their space to be safe and comfortable who they are. And I think that's respect in any form, whatever that is.
Hell no. Sorry. I feel like the black man is targeted um, in every way. The melanated man is targeted because we not black. Like I said, we not cold. We not the shadows in the night. You know what I mean? Everything is an attack. You got to think about the English language, even like mourning. When I wake up, why am I mourning? Mourning what? I should be happy. I just woke up. Why are we looking forward to the week end? Like, why are we looking forward to something to end? Why we want something to end so fast? You know what I mean? We got to think about stuff like that. So when we talk about the black man, the criminals, the goons, like it's just all an attack on our psyche. It's spiritual warfare. So yeah, I don't feel like the black man is respected at all.
No, not at all. But it's more of things that happen in life and generations that can now put us in a position to where we're not respected. We have when trade schools get out of here, way before my time, that cut the financial part where the man can't take care. We have the crack epidemic, what I'm saying, where it got rid of the being at the household, things like that. So now, as black men, we're not seen like other cultures as the strong, supportive man. What I'm saying? In other cultures, the man is the base. Nothing goes without the man say so. Whatever the man says, the woman won't even move without the man saying something. And I feel like that over time and over years, and how some of the system is set up, broke that for us. So now we are looked at as people that's not as respected as much. Mm-hmm.
I would say no. And I would say that because I think we're dealing with a time where I'm sure probably the reason you guys started this, I feel like a lot of our voices are being silenced. I feel like it's not okay for us to, openly talk about, in a lot of ways, our contributions, to the house, to society, to culture, on multiple different levels. And I think a lot of people are trying to remove us from the house too, just in terms of the importance of fathers and things like that, or, mentors and things. So I think it's a little unfortunate, but yes, I would say from a grand perspective, no. But I think within our culture, there's a lot of people who do respect us. So I don't think it's just none across the board.
As a black people, we gotta understand we'll never fully get it, and just take what we could get and then go. So yeah.
Nah, I mean, yes and no, right? In in society at large, it's just hard to say yes. if you look at it historically, right, it's just really hard to say, yeah, like there's respect, there's honor there, like, but I feel like we're at a point where I see a lot of growth in that area within like the Black community, because for a long time, like there was just a lot of dishonor amongst ourselves, and as you still see it, and it's a problem. It's a problem that needs to be addressed. It's like walking up the street, you see somebody, and immediately you're looking at them as a threat or as a mark. You're not honoring them. You're not respecting them, right? Or if you look at somebody, like, and you only value them by what they can do for you, you're not actually valuing them. You're monetizing and objectifying them, right? So the entertainment industry says, hey, I want you to perform for me, generate me money, and I'll pay you, but I don't actually want to hear from you, and I don't want to hear your thoughts and experiences, and I don't want you to speak in anything. I just want you to do this particular job, right? And so there's a lack of real honor and respect there. There's objectification that leads to monetization, and the amount of money people are being paid creates the illusion that they're being valued, but they're not, right? And so but there are people who are like learning to respect and honor and value the experiences and the histories and the thoughts and the expressions of others. And I think as a whole, we need to learn how to do that well, not just amongst ourselves, but with everybody, right? It's a hard thing to do.
There's a lot of things that a Black man has to do to earn their respect, because we just come from a place where we're automatically looked down upon, not necessarily by those closest to us, but those who don't know us. And a lot of that is the majority. So with that, I feel like that common respect is not there, even though we do get it from those close to us, which I think may make up for a lot of that we do miss, because the respect that we do get from especially from our Black women and our Black mothers and families and those close to us is a lot more than we would get from anybody else.
I bounce back and forth between a couple of different communities, and I think it depends on which community you're in, which circle you're in. And some he is, and some he's feared, and some he's disliked, he's hated. And so you get a mix of everything depending on, how diverse you are.
Do we respect ourselves enough to go ahead and demand respect from other people? Okay, I don't know. I've done a lot of disrespectful things to myself. I put myself in a lot of disrespectful situations. I've done things that are disrespectful to Black men. You know what I mean? So for me to say that's a great question, because I mean, I'm not saying someone should disrespect you. I'm not saying that they should have the right to disrespect you because they have, different financial status or, a job with a law enforcement or anything like that. I don't think they should disrespect you. But the question is, are we respecting ourselves? And what are we doing to respect ourselves? What are we doing to regain the respect in our homes? What are we doing to regain the respect of our children? It's kind of like you can't ask for it if you ain't giving it. Like we talk about all the time, Black Lives Matter, we still kill each other. I mean, and don't get it twisted, I'm not no prayer book. I done did enough. You know what I mean? But what I do know is that when you get to a certain age or level, it's kind of like, I really get joy or get joy from seeing a spark in a youngster like, yo, you don't gotta do something. You ain't gotta do that, Because when I was a lot of these cats' age, I just had a conversation with one of the guys was just in there a minute ago. It was like, when I was your age, bro, I was really, really out there. And you don't have to be, but I get it that you are. So if you go and do X, Y, Z, just move smart. It ain't what you do, it's how you do it. So, but I think we got to start by respecting I mean, how many of us really respect ourselves? That could just be from the way we present ourselves, the way we go to work, the way we interact with people. Like, how do we respect ourselves?
For the most part, I don't. Man, I want to say sometimes, but I want to answer straight up, but I would just say, man, I probably say no, you know what I mean? Because I just feel like it's always like a different type of energy when we're around, I feel like, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like when we go eat at like a Mexican restaurant sometimes, servers, they like take longer to serve you, you know what I mean? To have you and your family or you and your girlfriend go sit down sometimes, you know, and you know, stuff like that. I feel like you're not really respected, you know what I mean? You're not looked at as another customer. You're looked at as like somebody who could wait, you know. But to answer your question, no. But we do get respect sometimes, you know what I mean? It definitely, but for the most part, I don't think so.
Me personally, I don't feel the black man is respected. I do take upon ourselves for some of that because we do have our stigmas that we try to get out of, and some things just don't change. We grew up in certain areas, Watts, Compton, Inglewood. You gotta have a backbone, and sometimes our backbone comes off as rude and disrespectful. But if we don't have that backbone, if we don't stick to our guns, you know, we'll get ran over. So, you know, I'll take that.
You know, I think respect is a part of manhood to where like, and maybe for you guys, it's a part of your womanhood. You operate in the way that a man should or in the way that a woman should, and the people have no choice but to respect you. And I think it's really just existing in like who you are, you know, be you, and people gonna rock with it.
Is earned, it's not demanded, it's not forced, it's not bribed, there's no way to buy respect. It's all earned, it's all about what you do, how you treat people. It's all about the work and what you put in. You know, people can sense respect more than they can sense how smart you are or how funny you are or anything, just the way you carry yourself. Like respect goes with confidence, and like I said, goes with love. If people see that you love yourself and people see that you love yourself, there's no way you can go about forcing people to love you or forcing people to respect you. So I think the best way to get respect is basically to respect yourself, so that way you're not demanding it from anybody else. That's the best way for me to get respect.
You know, I grew up like shit, give it to get it, right? But, you know, you gotta know when motherfuckers don't respect you and know when to pull out. You know, I relate this shit to my son. I'm a Virgo, so it's like we hang on to people, you know what I'm saying? It's cool to let go. When motherfuckers don't respect what you got going, fuck it. Let it go. I got motherfuckers like, you know what I'm saying? Let it go, whatever.
I get respect by, trying to do me as well as not always thinking of myself. I show others that I think of them also by the work that I do, you know, by the asking them, not only asking people, you know, how they feel, what they're going through, but the work that I tend to want to do in my life it also reflects that I want to help people, and I tend to do that all the time.
How do I get it? Honestly, I think a lot of the ways I said it before, which is I think people respect me as far as like my morals and my values and my compass, my moral compass, especially the people who I'm in close contact with that really know me. I think they respect that. And I think people know how dedicated I am to what I do, especially the people in my circle. So I think they respect me for that. They respect my time. And like I said, you know, if you give me your word and I give you my word, like I expect it to go all the way through on both sides. So that's like the best form of respect. And I think I get that from everybody I need to get it from.
I get respect by giving respect. And I really, honestly, have learned not to worry about what's coming back to me. Like, I choose to honor people. I choose to honor their experiences. I choose to try my best to value who they are, to honor them, to be there for them, to be who I am when I'm with them and around them. And the hope is that, like, they would see the value in that. They would acknowledge the same for me. But, you know, there are oftentimes, not often, but like sometimes they just don't. And you know what? Like that's more reflection of them than it is of me. And I try as best I can not to get wrapped up in that and like confirm their assumptions.
I'll say what makes a man weak is is not controlling his emotions or being on a scale, because I believe in balance as well. If you're too emotional as a man, because I feel like once you're too emotional, then you can be controlled, you know, and emotional man is pretty dangerous, you know, with anger and that strength, you kind of don't know what's going on. So I feel like the more emotional a man is, the more weaker he is. A strong man is someone who can be held accountable and take accountability. Taking accountability is extremely hard, you know. I have problems with that sometimes that I have to keep telling myself. So being accountable is extremely tough. If you can do that and be able to say when you're wrong and have those talks, them uncomfortable talks, and be accountable, stuff like that, I feel like that is the strong man, for sure.
How would I define a weak man? That's a cold question. It's a cold question because, like, I think when we talk about strength and weakness, when it comes to being a man, I think we oftentimes have assumptions about what strength is and what weakness is that aren't necessarily healthy or accurate, right? And so I would say, first, let's look at strength. And I think strength is like somebody who is willing to acknowledge their shortcomings, be vulnerable and transparent in a healthy way, process their emotions in a healthy way, have accountability in their life, love those around them well, be open and willing to learn and grow, be open to accountability, and be willing to take the hard things head on, right? Do hard things, because growth is on the other side of hard, right? And so we got to say, hey, even if it's hard to acknowledge my own weaknesses and to acknowledge areas where I need help and to acknowledge that I'm bringing pain to those around me and those that have been entrusted to my care, I got to acknowledge that and seek opportunities for growth actively. And so that's strength. I think that's what strength is, being able to be, like, have self-control, express your emotions in a healthy way. Feel your sorrow, feel your joy, feel your pain, feel your anger, but in a healthy way. And learn how to process those things. And where you can't do it on your own, get help. It's okay. Like help is okay. Help is not a sign of weakness. Help is a sign of strength.
How would I define a weak man? A man that's easily wavered, a man that reacts without consciousness. I mean, not to say like you got to be conscious, like, you know, just like a person that's just overly reactive, you know, a person that just can't, you know, because stuff go get to you, you know. So it's like being weak to me would be somebody that just can't really, like, they can't decipher between what's worth, like, having an altercation or having a, you know, with something that's not worth it. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta just realize, like, some things just ain't really worth it. So, you know, and then the strong man, that doesn't mean that he doesn't react. Just a strong man, I think, is on that search, just, you know, just trying to figure it out, you know. So again, like I said, I don't like to even use the word weak. It's just like, I don't think you know, he's still growing. You know, I think a weak man still needs to grow. And it's just like it's just like a child. You think about a child, like a toddler, a baby, like, you wouldn't consider, you know, them weak because they ain't learned how to walk yet. You know what I mean? They just hadn't walked yet. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't call them weak because their skin is a little bit more supple and, you know, and a pen, you know, they'll bruise easier. They're not weak. They just not honed yet. You know what I mean? So I just feel like I don't think it's necessarily a weak thing. I just think that they just hadn't, and you don't want to get hardened either. So I just think it's just like it's just a process. It's a matriculation, you know. So they have to mature in some type of way, and sometimes that just comes from experience, you know.
I think the difference between a weak man and a strong man is his control over his mental. whether or not he can gauge his own emotions in the state of hyper feeling and be able to be like, all right, like I'm being irrational. Or know like he got to do something tomorrow and he's completing the task up until doing tomorrow. In any situation where you have to be like mentally capable of sustaining yourself, I think that's the difference between like what'll make a weak man and what'll make a strong one, because a weak one he won't listen to himself and he'll just, go out of whack. But the strong ones, they'll do what it takes to succeed.
Strong and a weak man, those two things are very subjective. Because you can have a strong-minded person who's weak-framed or weak-bodied, or you can have somebody who's strong physically and be weak-minded. It's all about basically what you're comparing it to, and oftentimes we're comparing two things that don't necessarily realistically aren't even comparable. So there's really no difference between a strong man and a weak man to me. The only difference is a man that takes care of his responsibilities and a man who doesn't. A man who takes care of himself, loves himself, respects himself, and somebody who does not. So between those two things, I don't think it's a strong or weak man. I think there's a responsible man, a mature man, an irresponsible, and an immature man.
What defines a weak man, strong man? What are the traits of both? Okay, a weak man, let me start with the lesser. The weak man, shit, he gonna accept what's being put in front of him. He gonna accept it. He gonna accept what it is and then just make excuses. A strong man is gonna. I was talking about this with the homies, like alchemy. I was talking about this shit, like, you ever read the book Alchemy and shit? It's just about turning a negative into a positive. You know what I'm saying? As men, we hold that power, and I feel like we sleep on ourselves. The homie got this tattoo, self-love, that shit deep. And that's how deep it is for men. You know what I'm saying? Like, women look for men to love them, you know what I'm saying? Men, we gotta be like that. And it's cool, because that's our role, but that's what comes with it if you really want to step in them shoes.
One is somebody who just doesn't understand that concept and isn't willing to live up to that, Because I think a lot of people think being a man is just an age-based thing. It's like, okay, I'm 21, I'm a man. I'm 25, I'm a man. Whatever. Like, that's not what it is. It's like, do you have your priorities in order? Are you selfless? Are you accountable? Are you willing to help people out? Put your family ahead of yourself? You know what I'm saying? Be responsible, and if you're not willing to do those things, then you shouldn't be comfortable calling yourself, a man, So I think, it can sound harsh to say somebody's a weak man, but I only think it becomes weak when you claiming to be something and then you're not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that would be my definition of it, is that someone claiming to be and do these things and fulfill these responsibilities and they're not doing that, and a strong man would be someone who says he's that and does those things. So yeah, I don't really think it's no harm from those labels, because I think if it's coming from a pure source and someone telling you, like, you being a weak man, as harsh as it sounds, it may be true, and you got to be able to accept that, but you got to know who you can and can't listen to. You got to know who has your best interest at heart, you know what I'm saying? Because some people will tell you that and they don't care about you, so it don't hold no weight. But if it's coming from a source that really loves you and cares about you and wants to see you doing well, then they might have said it for a reason, and then the inverse of that is, if they're saying you're a strong man, if it's a person who loves you, they probably said it for a reason. So, I just think you got to understand who the messenger is, when you're receiving those things.